So I'm in the process of purchasing a duplex. I should be closing very, very soon. But the duplex is 100 years old and it needs a lot of work. This has the potential to be something really big for me. So I kind of wanted to share my journey with you guys and let everybody learn from my mistakes and learn from what I've done correctly and incorrectly. And we can just kind of go through this process together. And I also wanted this to serve as kind of like a video diary for myself so I can look back and say, wow, you thought the situation was gonna go one way, but it turns out it went a whole nother way, or this is what you envisioned in your head, but it turned out so much better than you imagined. So I just want to be able to look back at the end of this process and kind of see how far I've come and track my progress along the way. So, like I said, the duplex needs a lot of work. I'm still in the process of purchasing it, but I wanted to go ahead and kind of get my plans in motion and kind of start having some concepts and ideas of things that I wanted when it's time for me to start this huge renovation. I've never renovated anything before, and so I just wanted to kind of have an idea in terms of my budget on what I was looking at and see like what's realistic, what's not, and kind of, like I said, just give myself some time to have a creative process while kind of developing my ideas. The house is in a very creative neighborhood. It's downtown and it's in a historical district, and the historical district is really being revitalized and changed. Like the new restaurants in the area, there's new businesses in the area, so there's a lot of attention being placed on this neighborhood right now. And so I bought a house that is definitely a fixer-upper, internally, externally. Like, baby needs some work, but she is a blessing for me, and this is something that I manifested, so I was ready for it, even though now I'm starting to kind of second guess and like get a little nervous because I'm realizing how huge of a project it really is. You're not gonna get more than what you can handle. So since I manifested this, I really like worked hard, made it happen, and so I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna take a plunge, dive in head first, and see what happens. Because worst case scenario was failure, and I'd rather fail than not to try. So we're gonna give it a try. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the video on the iPad and try to show it on the screen here so you can follow along. And I'm gonna try to explain and like add pictures. That way everybody can kind of visualize with me what I'm talking about. So it's 2 units. There's one downstairs and one upstairs. They're both 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, about 1,300 square feet each. And the layouts are pretty similar, so a lot of things are gonna be very similar. It's just gonna be a couple key differences. Okay, so first we're gonna start with the downstairs unit. At the time the video was taken, the tenant was still in the unit. So just ignore their personal items. So now you're seeing the front door. I have no plans at all yet. The outside, like that's gonna be its own project. First come in, you see there's this huge wall kind of blocking off the rooms. So I think I want to try to get that wall removed, just to kind of open up that area and make it like a big wide space. So as soon as you come in, it's like nice and inviting. So then she's scrolling down to the floors, and the floors, I think I'm gonna do the same throughout the entire unit for the most part. So now we're going into the living room, and the living room is gonna be pretty easy. I'm expecting that to just kind of be paint and floors, pretty simple, like not gonna do too much in there. There is a wall, there is a fireplace behind the television there. I'm not sure if that's gonna be able to be removed, but we're hoping so, because I also want to remove this wall separating the kitchen from the living room. So here's the kitchen. I'm gonna keep the kitchen pretty small. I don't want a whole bunch of shelves. I'm thinking maybe we can do, let me pause this. I'm gonna keep the kitchen pretty small. I'm thinking maybe we can do just some taller upper cabinets that extend all the way to the ceiling, but keep the same footprint for the most part. And then I think I'm gonna add an island in the middle just to add some extra cabinet space. So there is a wall here that I also want removed that opens up into the hallway. And I'm kind of thinking that that might be load bearing, and that's not something I'm prepared to shell out the cash for. So if that wall can't be completely removed, I'm hoping they can do like pillars or something like that to kind of at least give us more of an opening. I mentioned wanting to remove some walls and kind of change
the floor plan of the home just a little bit. And I think the best way to communicate kind of what I mean is just going to be to do a quick sketch and then kind of walk you guys through my ideas. So I'm thinking we should remove this wall. I'm not sure how possible that's going to be because I know the beams run straight down the middle from the front to the back of the house. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a load bearing wall or not. If it is a load bearing wall, those are very time consuming and very expensive to remove. And that's not something that I think I'm prepared to do. But for this first scenario, we're just going to imagine that we're able to get that wall cleared completely. So we remove that. And then we would also completely remove this wall to the living room and kitchen, as well as that fireplace, because it's been bricked up anyway, so it's not usable. So I don't really see a purpose in keeping that. I might as well remove the whole thing and let that just be an open area as soon as you walk in. So there is cabinetry along the back wall to the kitchen. So we'll draw that here in blue. And in an ideal situation, I would be able to just change out the cabinets that are along that rear wall and add in a small island. Like I said, I want to keep the kitchen still kind of small to keep it nice and affordable, but I want it to have a big impact. So I think that'll be like my ideal situation, just like you can walk in and see the kitchen and the island. But I'm not sure if that fireplace is going to be able to be removed, like I said. So what may happen is we may have to keep just a section of that wall to kind of support that fireplace and end up with something kind of like this. That way, the passageway between the living room and the kitchen is kind of blocked off and kind of separated. That way, it is two different and defined spaces, but it's still nice and open, and you can still share the light in between both spaces so you don't feel closed in. Now, another issue that we may run into is, like I said, this wall may be load bearing. So what we may end up doing is just adding pillars instead, so that way we can take out like large sections of the wall, so it is still letting some light pass through, but it won't be as open as it would be with just a fully removed wall. So let's just say we have about 4 pillars. This floor plan would still work with the island, even if we do have to keep the fireplace and the pillars. But what I am also considering, if the island doesn't work for whatever reason once we actually get into the space, is maybe instead of an island, we can just kind of take one of these sections of the wall and make it more so like a bar. That's kind of a couple of the ideas I've been juggling back and forth with. I really do prefer the island, and I'm hoping we can keep the island even if we're not able to remove either of those walls, because I like the look of an island.
The floors you see here that have like the mosaic on the floors, it has to go. It has to go. I don't even know. It has to go. But yeah, so for this unit, I'm thinking we're gonna do the kitchen. I want to do some nice bright white countertop to just kind of be really reflective and make the kitchen seem large, even though it isn't gonna be. Then I'm thinking I want to do navy blue cabinets. So for all the walls, I think I'm going to stick with a pretty neutral, like actual wall color itself. And then I'm thinking the baseboards and window trim can be like my pop of color. So I was looking at the contrast trims, and I think for this one I'm going to stick to navy blue there as well. Now we're going into the hallway, and there is this little room underneath the stairs to the second unit. So I'm thinking we can kind of turn that into like an office space. I'm gonna throw up some accent tiles. Then here's the utility room. I know the water heater needs to be replaced, and I'm thinking I'm gonna try to get a stackable washer and dryer just to save some more space. So now we're going into one of the bedrooms. This one's pretty simple too. I'm thinking all the bedrooms are pretty much just gonna be like, you know, smoothing the walls, getting some paint, and doing flooring. So in the closet, there are these pipes, and I'm thinking I can kind of use that to my advantage and kind of like steer it more towards like an industrial type of vibe in there. So I'm thinking I'm gonna paint the pipes to match the trim. That might be kind of nice, or I might just do like a nice matte black. That bedroom opens up into the kitchen, but there's like a pantry on either side, so we're just gonna kind of make that nice and fresh. And then we're going into the first bathroom. So I want to replace the tub with like either a tub and shower combo or maybe just a shower. And then I'm going to replace the toilet and the sink. So for the tiles along the wall, I think maybe like give them a good scrub and maybe paint those tiles. That might be a good way to kind of reuse that. That way that's not an extra feature that I need to pay for or something I need to really think of adding because it's already in the property. So there is some wood damage that I believe has been taken care of. So this room is also probably just gonna be like walls and paint. I don't really think there's nothing notable about the room except for the window, and that's what the realtor is showing me there. It's just that that's kind of where there was some previous termite damage. So like I said, the house is over 100 years old, and it even still has the original wood floors, but because there's so much termite damage, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to keep the floors. That's why I'm kind of planning on just tiling the entire unit because I don't know if it's even gonna be something I'll be able to save. So this is a small bathroom. I'm thinking about just getting the shower retiled, replacing those fixtures, making the paint nice and bright, and just kind of giving a little bit of personality. But otherwise, I'm gonna leave the footprint of that pretty much the same. And then we have another bedroom. Again, just walls and floors. That's pretty much gonna be the basics of handling all the bedrooms. And then this one has a huge walk-in closet. So we're gonna kind of make that like a nice selling point, like make it nice and relaxing in there and kind of add some, I'm not sure like what kind of detail we're gonna add in there, but it's gonna have to be something to kind of draw your attention to. And that is pretty much the tour of the duplex. You can see, or I'm sorry, the tour of the bottom unit. You can see kind of the texture on the walls. I'm gonna try to get that smoothed out. I have a plan. It looks hard. It does look hard, but I have a plan. So we're gonna at least give it a good try. And if it ends up being something I can't do, then I might have to call in some help, but that's no big deal. So now we have the upstairs unit. So you see here, there are the green tiles. As soon as you walk in, I want that to be something that just kind of like draws your eye. So I want to replace that with some accent tiles. And then I'm thinking we're gonna do black on the stairs. I don't know what kind of nice banister we can find, but try to find a nice banister, maybe like an acrylic clear one or maybe like a matte black one. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but something that's just gonna like make this a wow. And again, you can kind of see the termite damage on the stairs. So you can see they really did do some damage, but you know, it's nothing a little bit of TLC. As soon as you walk in, you have the same wall here. Again, I want to knock that wall out, and I'm thinking I'm gonna make this my office. So I think this is just gonna be pretty much just tile and walls. It's not necessarily an official room, but I think I might do a glass door just to like kind of let some of the light from the balcony shine through. So again, I want to remove this long wall here. You just saw the living room, and just like the other one, it's going to just be walls and floors. And this is another wall that we're going to knock down just to open that whole area up into the kitchen. And then I think I'm going to do like concrete on the floors. That's my utility room. That water heater is a little newer. And it has a separate laundry room, so I wouldn't have to worry about a washer and dryer in there. This one again is going to be the same. Try to replace the tub with the shower maybe, and replace those fixtures. Maybe repaint the wall tiles. This is a bedroom, so that's also going to be just walls and floors, and I think I'm going to do a contrasting trim in this unit as well. I think I'm going to keep everything nice and dark and do black, and then we're going to paint those pipes black as well and kind of go for like a steampunk type of vibe. And I also found some nice door handles. They're like the crystal ones, like the old-fashioned ones, so I think that might be a way to bring in some glam and kind of a nod to like the historic aspect of the home. So this room, I'm going to make this like my meditation room basically. So I'm going to do all the walls nice and dark in here. So my plan for that small bathroom is to either get a wall hung toilet or try to find some sort of compact toilet just to kind of save a little bit of the footprint of the room. And then I was really trying to figure out what to do about a sink and vanity. So I think I'm gonna just hang a mirror on the wall, and then I kind of like tossed and turned and thought, and then I kind of thought to myself, well, what do people with tiny homes do in their bathrooms? So I looked at a couple tiny home designs, and I saw they do like a sideways sink. So I found one of those that's reasonably priced, and I think I'm going to do a sideways sink in there just so it gives you more room to kind of walk through that opening to get to the shower. And then we're going to retile the shower. Then we have like this huge closet, and this is going to be where I put most of my bags and shoes. I believe it's supposed to be a pantry, but you know, my house, my rules. So in this room, this is the master. So this is going to be walls and paint as well. And then we have this nice laundry room. I would like to have a shower for my dog in there just because I think that would be a nice feature to have and it'll be really convenient. That way I can just give him a bath in the wet room. That may be something I could add if I end up having a little bit of extra left over in my budget. And that's kind of my plan.